Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you to the opening ceremony of Executive Master in Digital Transformation and Innovation Leadership for Class of 2026. My name is Deniz Torku. I'm the Executive Director of Business Masters here at IE Business School, and I'm honored to kickstart this very exciting journey with all of you. This is the beginning of something truly transformative for you, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Now, to begin, I'd like to introduce Liam Newman, the Dean of IE Business School, who will guide us through what makes IE such a unique institution and how we foster the next best you mindset that will help you grow both personally and professionally. Lee, over to you. A round of applause for our Dean.
Actually, let's do a round of applause for you, this class of 2026. I don't know that I need to stand on this block, but anyway, I'm just going to be a little bit taller today. Well, welcome to IE Business School. Welcome to IE. It's a pleasure to have you here. We've spent a lot of time looking at your profiles. You're a fantastic class, and we hope that you'll agree at the end of 13 months that you were a fantastic class and that you loved each other. Well, you know, school is about doing homework, right, and work and studying and those kinds of things, right? They made that clear in the admissions process, right? So let's do our first assignment. I'd like to ask you just look around at each other for a second. Okay. Hola, hi, bonjour, whatever. We have a lot of languages here, and you'll see a little bit about that later. But somewhere in the people that you were looking at are people who are going to be your friends, your network for life, right? I mean, this is going to be a very intense period of time for you. So you're going to be studying in the Masters in Digital Transformation and Innovation Leadership. You have this thing called work and jobs, right? I mean, you might have heard of that. You have responsibilities. Anybody have KPIs? Raise your hand. Okay, so now you have some new KPIs. They're called grades, and knowledge and skill acquisition. You have your work KPIs, and raise your hand if you have any friends or family in your life. Okay, just forget about them. They're there, and you're going to ask them for a lot of support, but we'll quiz you at the end of this journey, and we'll ask you whether the word social life is still in your vocabulary. Generally, the answer is no, but okay. So you have an intense period of time coming up, and so you have the people around you who are going to be really great colleagues and your network for life and an important part of the program. So you passed assignment number 1 by looking at each other. Now assignment number 2 is a repeat assignment. It's look again, look around, maybe a little more broadly, look at the back row, front row, whatever, be a little more broad in your search. So you're also, in addition to great colleagues and your network for life, you're looking at some people. We don't know who they are yet, but someone out there or multiple people out there will be your antagonists. What do I mean by that? Give me some synonyms. Antagonists. Yeah, rivals. People are gonna, kind of drive you crazy. Make you want to pull your hair out, right? There's going to be some turbulence and some friction that happens here. Why? I mean, I know you don't have any in your job, so we'll try to imagine here at school why there might be some interpersonal stuff going on. Competition could be. What else?
Very different cultural aspects.
Yeah, you come from all over the place, different cultures, right? Different workings, forget culture, just different working styles, different personalities, different ways of thinking and doing things, right? And so that's one of the best experiences of IE is the diversity of all of our programs across this institution, not just the business school. But sometimes that cultural diversity and these differences in personality can create some fun things in teams, right? Well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So welcome to this class of colleagues and also potential antagonists. But one of the messages I want to leave you with today is that if you do things right, you actually may learn the most about yourself, and you might actually grow the most from those people that make you kind of want to pull your hair out sometimes. But you may have a lot to learn from them. So let's think about that. But let me share with you some ideas about the business school at IE and how we think about things. So this is what we do. call it the Next Best You. Raise your hands if you've heard about it. Okay, our admissions department, I need to do a little work with them on messaging. So this is what we do. I mean, you could say it's kind of like Nike, just do it, but it's not really, it's not an ad campaign. It's our mission as a school. It's our purpose, really, as a school, which is this idea of education as transformation, right? I mean, we know education, you know, you're acquiring knowledge, you're acquiring skills, but we actually like to think about it as you're actually transforming yourself. And, well, in this particular program, you're going to learn how to transform businesses, right, as well. So, but when we think about the Next Best You, it's really about each of you as individuals, as business professionals, whatever kind of professional you might be, tech, business, law, whatever, medical, and how to transform yourselves. And that's what we focus on, is a journey. So the journey starts with what we call the current you. Raise your hand if there's a current you out there, everyone alive out there? Yeah, awake. So there's a current you, right? You have dreams, you have aspirations about where you want your careers and your lives to go. You have strengths. Raise your hand if you can think about one of your top strengths that makes you, what's your superpower? Can you think of one? Just one. We have one strength in the room. So there's a lot of transformation in that Next Best You that's got to happen here for all of you to discover your strengths. We have one strength. But so it's interesting, though. Research shows that actually people are not always aware of what their superpowers are and their strengths, right? We hear a lot more in businesses about what? What do our companies tell us about our strengths? Yeah, and of course, we never call them weaknesses. What do we call them in companies? Our what? Yes, our development materials. What else? There's other fun names. What do your companies call them besides development areas? Improvement areas, improvement skills. HR, like anybody work in HR? Raise your hand. One HR, okay. It's his fault. But they don't say weaknesses. You know, they're areas for growth. So we have those pesky little gaps in some of our let's say interpersonal and other skills that I'll mention in a minute to be filled. And so that's your current you has those strengths, these little areas for improvement that we might have. And the idea of the Next Best You is that we want to accompany you on a journey, not just in digital transformation, innovation, leadership, but in a journey of transforming yourself and becoming the next best version of yourselves as professionals, first and foremost, but also as people, okay? And you'll have a lot of experience in the program to do that. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, good. I'm glad, because that's what we do, and you chose us. So thank you for choosing us. So let me go through that. So I'm trained as a consultant. I'm a recovery management consultant from former days, and I was brainwashed that everything has to be three. So you'll see there are three elements of the Next Best You, and each of those three elements has three elements. So if you do the math, there's 9 in total. And I want to just walk you through some of the core ideas here. So on the career part, I think that's straightforward. I mean, you're all working. You all are doing this program to advance your career. Probably some discovery going on here, like maybe there's some lateral moves or some things that you want to do. Some of you are thinking maybe of ascending in your current roles, right? And so you're going to get a lot of upskilling in this program to help you do that. So I think the career part is pretty straightforward, other than saying that there probably is no better time in any recent history for studying tech and digital. I mean, the game is just changing, the ground is shaking underneath us every day, every week practically brings new stuff. And so, a lot of people out there are worried and wondering, what the heck are we going to do? Well, how are we going to run businesses? And so you're going to spend 13 months thinking about how to do that and building skills to basically reshape business for a new world. And I think that's, to be honest, pretty cool. I wish I was doing it. So that's the career part. Let me jump to your purpose. So we think it's very important here, which is why it's one of the three elements of the Next Best You, to think about purpose. We call it business with purpose in the business school. So this is the idea that we work and perform at our best when we can align things that we care about, meaning our North Star, whatever you want to call it, with our work. So there's a why, a strong why behind what it is that we do. And as leaders, of course, we need to instill that for the people that work for us, right? I mean, if they're just doing the what's and they don't know why, and they don't feel any meaning in the why, that's probably someone that's not going to stick around for a long time if they have other options, right? So we invite you, and we don't preach this. I mean, we invite you as you go through this program to think about your purpose. What gets you up in the morning? What motivates you? What gets you excited? What are you passionate about? Okay, and that invitation can happen at 3 levels or in any other way that you define, right? Purpose is very individual. But the way we think about it is that with business with purpose, there's the level of the planet, right? And so there, we're thinking about stuff like sustainable business practices, right? How do we think about those as leaders? Okay, the second level would be society, okay? How can we use our leadership business skills in some ways to have a positive impact on society? Maybe that's part of your purpose. And there we think about things like social entrepreneurship or social innovation, sometimes people call it, but using your skills to have a positive impact on society. And then last, and I think I'm trained in behavioral science, and so this is the closest to my heart, is the idea of how can we be great professionals in the workplace? How can we create environments in the workplace where everybody can perform at super high levels and enjoy each other and enjoy their work, right? And that's super important for us. So let me just do a quick little poll here while we're on sort of purpose in the workplace. So raise your hand if you've had a bad manager, and by bad manager, let me define that, because that could cover a lot of ground. Bad manager in the sense of someone who did not have did not have your best interests in mind, that did not really take the time to care about who you are and to develop you as your manager. Raise your hand if you had one of those. Okay, so not everybody, but many, many people, right? So what we'd like you to think about if you're thinking about purpose in the workplace is you do not want to be that kind of manager for others, right? So we would love for all of you as you graduate in some months from now to be the kinds of leaders who send people home stimulated, excited about their work, feeling some purpose in their work, feeling like what they're doing matters, and feeling part of a great team, right? We'd like you to be that type of leader and manager, not the type that many of you just call to mind, okay? Willing to accept that mission? Sure. Yes, okay, good. But you have 13 months to think about it, right? So that's the part about purpose. But let me leave that part with just one thought, which is that actions have a lot of power. Right? Our actions, the way we listen to people, the way we talk to people, the way we communicate, the way we relate, have a lot of power. So I'd like to give each of you a C-suite title today as a gift for coming to us in this master's degree. You are now Chief Behavior Officers. Okay, and as Chief Behavior Officers, I'd like you to spend the next 13 months thinking about what does that mean? How can I be working in teams in this program or back at my jobs in a way where actually maybe I put some effort into creating the kind of climate in teams where people can perform at their best, okay? So that's a suggestion. Maybe you're all Chief Behavior Officers. Remember that in 6 months when you're busy, okay? All right, so with that, I'll leave the purpose part. Let me talk about impact. A great way to do that is, well, first let me define it. So when we talk about the impact part of the Next Best You, it's not social impact, that's over here, okay? We talk about impact, what we're talking about is the ability to make big stuff happen in the workplace, facing difficult business challenges, facing difficult workplace situations, facing difficult people, okay? Difficult people. Raise your hand if you can think of a difficult person in your current role. I'm looking for the person who's not raising their hand because I want your job. And I've got people here that work with me, and I hope they may be thinking, they may be like, difficult person, and I'm the one imaged in their mind. Okay, sorry for that. So it's very easy to think about difficult people in our work and in our lives, right? But isn't each of us, if we flip it around, isn't each of us a difficult person for somebody else? Yeah, you're willing to admit that? Get off to a humble start, back row. You guys, yeah, you difficult people for others? Yes? Not sure? We're not sure back there. But each of us can be difficult for other people. Why? Because we're bad? No. Why? Let's do a little back row action here.
You ask somebody to do something which is maybe not so easy for them and they feel stressed about it.
Yeah, so maybe the way you brief somebody, maybe you give them a what to do, or you even tell them how to do it, but not any why, and maybe it doesn't come off well, and they're stressed, okay? What else? Why might each of us sometimes be a difficult person for somebody else?
Because our brains work entirely different.
Because, yeah, our brains work differently. I mean, we're coming from different cultures. You'll find out how many. We're going to go through how many countries you're coming from. We always do. It's always fun. But, I mean, you're coming from different countries, different cultures. You have different personalities. You have different leadership, working styles, etc. So when you put people together with different ways of working, I mean, stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. What's that? I mean, human beings can be competitive, right? I mean, you won't be at all in this program, but I mean, you can be, right? I mean, so people can be competitive, right? And sometimes, I mean, there's this idea of co-opetition, right, in work, right? I mean, we have to figure out, we are competing for that promotion with somebody, but they're also a colleague, and we need to work well with them. Otherwise, we're not the team player. So, I mean, it's very tricky to balance between competition and cooperation. So, that's a big part of this. And maybe we'll do a quick fun thing. I mean, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to pick one of you randomly and ask you to stand up and sing a song in your native language, whatever that is. So while I'm looking around, you think of what song you're going to sing if I choose you. Okay, we won't do it unless somebody really wants to sing, and then we'll give you a minute. Does anyone want to sing? No, okay. You don't know each other well enough yet. That will come later. You'll be singing later in class. But, okay, we're not going to do that. But raise your hand if you're a little bit nervous that I was going to choose you, and be honest. Okay, we got a lot of hands up here. We have a lot of hands up here. So why did I do that? I did that because it's a little trick in what we call positive psychology, which is something I'm trained in, which illustrates how easy it is to create negative emotions, right? I mean, you're a little stressed. I mean, some of you, your stomach tightened when I looked at you, or then your neck tightened a little bit or something like that, right? That's an immediate moment of stress. And actually, if you measure it, it takes a little bit of time for your heart rate to go back down. I mean, if I'd done it even stronger and just looked at every single person and I'm about to choose you, you're like, ugh. And it takes your heart rate a while to come back down. So it's that easy to create negative emotions. And the reason I did this little trick is to just illustrate the point that, as chief behavior officers, you got to think carefully about how we talk, how we communicate, et cetera. So that's really important. So getting back to these impact skills, I mean, so we want you to work on these things in addition to the digital and the innovation, all the things that you've signed up for. So what I'd like to suggest is that your teams in this program are your labs for behavior change, right? I mean, those are the places that are much safer than your workplace in the sense of being open, sharing feedback that you might not share with people in your work, that you could share here, receiving feedback that you might not receive at work, right? But that you can receive in this safe lab of your teams in this program. So my suggestion, the one suggestion I'd like to make for you is to really think about taking advantage of your teamwork and looking for what we call game-changing moments, right? A game-changing moment is where someone tells you something that, it's a little bit of negative feedback. Like, for example, when you ask my team, people that have worked with me, they'll tell you, I'm not a very good listener, right? I interrupt people, I'm high energy, I like to be in the conversation, I interrupt. Sometimes you're talking and I'm thinking about something else, sometimes I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. It's a big club, actually. It's called the Club of the Bad Listeners. There's a chapter in every one of the countries you come from. It's not a very exclusive club. So let me ask you, how many people might put themselves in the club? Do you think you could be a better listener? Raise your hand. I have data on this, by the way. Almost everyone? Okay, good. We got about 50, 60% of you. Roughly speaking, I've done tests of this in many different groups from the C-suite down to entry-level employees. About 70% of people say, yeah, I'm not the best listener. So that's my thing. What's your thing? Maybe some of you are bad listeners. Some of you might be micromanagers. I mean, we can make a long list of things, but the next 13 months is a great time for you to figure out what are the one or two things that you could improve. And I'm talking here about these kinds of skills, thinking skills, behavioral skills, communication skills, team skills that would make you a much better professional. So I'm not talking about, using ChatGPT to be more productive. You'll do that too. But I'm talking about more of these kinds of impact, what we call these sort of behavioral impact skills. So start thinking about that. And my big ask is that each of you take the time and the risk to give each other honest feedback during this program. And you're coming from different cultures, as you said before, and let's not hold people to the specific packaging of that feedback, right? Because what's polite in one culture might be not polite in another culture. So when someone takes the risk and puts the energy into saying, listen, this is not going well in our team. You're not listening to me, or you're bulldozing over my ideas, or you're micromanaging some of the team's work and I don't like it. Forget the package. Take the feedback, sit on it, thank the person for giving it to you, right? You can push back, of course, but don't be defensive. But use this as a lab for growth, okay? I think I've made the point, but you will forget about this very quickly. as you get busy with your studies, your jobs, and that thing called life, and you'll get very busy, okay? So can we make a commitment to share feedback with each other and accept it nicely and take it on board, yes? Okay, fantastic, thank you for that. All right, what else do I want to tell you? Well, let me wrap up by just saying that as of this moment, regardless of where you came from in the world, Real Madrid is now your football team. And if it's not if it's not Real Madrid, it's at a minimum Atletico de Madrid, okay? We have some Atletico fans, I'm sure, here, so I have to say that. I'll warn you that deadlines in the next 13 months are like ninjas. They're sort of creeping around. You can't really see them. You sometimes forget they're there, and then all of a sudden they're out and they jump out and they arrive. So watch out for them. Coffee or strong tea might be a very, very close companion for the next months. And last but not least, I think probably that those antagonists that I talked about at the very beginning might be the people that actually you learn the most about yourself from over the course of the year. I hope that happens, okay? So have a fantastic set of months. We're here for you. We have a whole team of people here to support you, from professors to our program staff to all of us in the school and the university. Take advantage of the university. I mean, you're in a part-time program, but the university has clubs and many things that you can take part in remotely if you have the time. And my best wishes to you, and let's stay in touch. I hope we're connected on LinkedIn so I can follow your posts as you share some of the stuff, successes and failures, if you want. And I look forward to getting to know each of you, okay? So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Lee. And now I'm pleased to introduce Manuel Lopez Martin de Blas, Vice Dean of Finance and Business Tech Programs here at IU Business School, who will give us an overview of what's happening in digital transformation and innovation leadership. Manuel, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So, this is me? Okay. Yes. So when I was preparing this presentation today, especially because, I mean, your demographics, you are really senior, all of you. You have a lot of experience, a lot of staff. And I really feel comfortable to talk in front of you because I had an opening before that, so the people or the students were 22, 23 years, even the jokes I made, they didn't understand because we were coming from the 90s, fine. So before I start, and I promise it's gonna be 7 minutes, it's more or less timekeeping. The reason, because I'm here with you. And it's a little bit the story of my life. But now, yes, I'm a Vice Dean, Business Tech and Finance, sounds really serious. 5 years ago, somebody told me, Manuel, you're gonna be in academia. I would say, okay, could you share your drink? Because I cannot believe I'm going to be here. So my life has been a life of choosing options, pivoting. So when I was 16, I want to become a priest. Yeah, Catholic even. Okay, so when I was 18, I enrolled the army. After 2 years, I said, this is not for me. And I started just to think, okay, what I want to do. So I studied economics. I moved to my family business. Later on, I moved to consultancy. I started to work in strategy, M&A, blah, blah, blah. And around 22 years ago, I discovered technology. Wow, technology is the new thing. And I said, oof, technology. Because there are two approaches to technology. It's the approach of, I like to know everything, each single detail about this ETL tool. Or I want to know to what I can apply technology for change. And this is the reason this program was born. And this program was focused on executives like you. People that either will get a promotion, inshallah, in the next 2 years, or you will move to a different positions, or you will change jobs for a more senior one. And for that, you need much more skills than understanding how generative AI works. So this is what we are going to try to share with you. First, I would like to ask the full team to stand up and just get a round of applause, because these guys are the ones that make this possible to all of you. Dennis, Juanpe, Rosa, David. Because at the end, I'm a puppet, okay, so don't worry about that. Those are the ones that actually are going to be with you during the whole 13 months that we are going to be together. So you should be proud. We don't bring everybody here. Don't think that is, you just do your application, an interview, and you come back and you just enroll. It's not like that. We look for a special batch of people. People that you are curious, people that you want to change, people that you can bring things into the class. You will listen to Anna, that is here today, Senior Vice President of Salesforce. But what she can teach you is only in one direction. I tell you my experience. All of you, you bring experience to each other. You learn much more from the people around you that you will learn from your professors. And you say, so I shouldn't have paid this. Not that easy to get this kind of cohort and to get this kind of faculty. And this afternoon we have our academic director meeting. I forgot. In this master, you have the advantage or disadvantage that I'm your academic director and your vice dean. So the escalation path is really short. You talk to me and you talk with the vice dean, okay? So when I was preparing this, I thought, okay, let's share with them some percentages about how things change. Not interesting. Let's share some figures about how the digital transformation market is blooming. Not interesting. Let's share how the 5 forces are shaping the new world of business. Probably you know about this. You read everything every day, you get up to date. So not really interesting. Even I try just to make a joke. Digital is everywhere. Not interested. But these start to become interesting. And it's not interesting by the concept of generative AI or traditional AI. I mean, just for those that are, I'm a curious person. So the first guy that started to talk about generative AI was a monk. A monk that was a subject of the crown of Aragon, an old kingdom in Spain. This guy, the name, Ramon Llull, wrote something in Latin. I used to study Latin a long time ago. That is called Ars Magna. In that opus magna, he wrote all the combinatorial principles that ChatGPT is based on. So things has evolved. What is now different is in this digital world is what makes you different to be able to survive. And that is the reason 2 years ago we started to think about reshape this program. So 2 different views, they need to know Python, they need to do whatever. And a different view is, okay, they need to survive. They need to lead the change. They need to be able to understand technology, but moreover, to understand how this technology changes companies and how the professors, because most of your professors are practitioners, they try to apply books that they were written, books that you can find in a library, you can find in Coursera, but they found that they didn't work. And they need to write a new chapter. So when we design that, what we try is just to focus in what is going to make you different. What is going to make you different in a really technified world? What is going to make you different to survive the next 5 to 10 years? Because I'm 55, so in a difficult situation right now, if I don't win the lottery, okay? But in your case, you have probably in front of you, how many years? 10, 20, 25. The important thing is, what are the skills you will need to survive an ever-changing world? That probably the technology that today, remember the metaverse? What a bluff. But what's a hype 3 years ago? Well, now the hype is generative AI. What is going to be the new hype? Can you keep up the new hypes? It's really difficult. But what you can develop are skills that are going to help people and are going to help companies to transform. And this is what is called for us. We'll see this in more details, but what we want to prepare here is the leaders for the next 15 years. So at the very end, what we try, as Lee mentioned, is just to prepare you in 3 different areas. Your career in your company, or maybe outside the company. I was talking with Antonio The other day we have a meeting. Antonio is an alumni, okay? We didn't pay him to be here. So he wants to be here. But yesterday for me it was amazing because Antonio has a really long career. You study this master, you decide to pivot, and you create your own startup. Not easy. Not easy to be out of your comfort zone. And it's not because he learned about machine learning or digital business strategy. It's because they met people like you. He met people like you. He met experiences that made him pivot. And this is what we are trying to do here. What we are trying to do here is, of course, we are going to bring you all the experiences, all the faculty, all the classes, VR, you will experiment with extended reality, with virtual reality, fine. But at the very end, there's a 50% that we cannot bring to you. You need to bring that bet on the table. And what we have seen so far in the last 3-4 years, then it's more or less all of you, former students, now alumni and friends, they brought this on the table. So be prepared, of course. Lee mentioned forget your family. Yes. Yes, social life. Social life, what is that? You will start the complaints. This week, more or less this week and next one, you will be in a hype. The complaints will start in 2 weeks from now, so David will call me, Manuel, we have a problem here. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The question is how you will manage, because it's a comfort zone. It's a training field that you will be subjected to pressure, to stress, to, as Lee mentioned, ninja deliverables that are coming from everywhere. And you will need to deliver. And you will need to meet people that in a face-to-face program is easy. Okay, you have a conversation, you don't like this conversation, we'll go for a bar, for a drink, a tea, coffee, whatever you drink, and we'll solve it. But here you're gonna deal on a virtual space where your cultural difference, the way you approach problems, your critical thinking, your problem-solving approach are completely different. I'm Spanish. I don't listen. I'm really proud of that. I don't listen. I have my answer ready before you ask a question. However, you're coming from a different culture, and you will be patient, just listening to everybody, blah, 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 and nobody will let you share your opinions. And you will need to deal with that. You will need to deal with friction. You will need to deal with conflict, like you do in your companies today. But here you can experiment. This is not about getting grades or the best grade. It doesn't matter if you get honors or not. This is not for that. Executive program is just to live experience, to make friends, and to learn how to be better for the future. So what we expect from you can be summarized in here.
There are no grand celebrations here, no speeches, no bright lights. But there are great athletes. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is reserved for the chosen few, for the superstars. The truth is, greatness is for all of us. This is not about lowering expectations. It's about raising them for every last one of us. Because greatness is not in one special place. And it is not in one special person. Greatness is wherever somebody is trying to find it.
So, and let me just tell you a little story about myself as well. Here, and was also my experience when I came here to study my executive MBA in 2010, I have an opinion about myself, about what I was good at, my strengths and weaknesses. Because I was coming from a professional career, and in a professional career, normally they tell you, okay, you are a high potential, you are essential contributor, or you are poof, you need to improve. Here where I discovered things that I was not aware of. But I could only discover that because I wanted to change. I wanted really, I had a perception about myself, and I wanted to change that perception, and just to uncover something completely different. So we are asking for a few things. What we are asking is for you to be curious. For you, even for those that need advising because you're thinking changing job, etc., use everything we have here to offer you. Also, what we are asking you is for you to choose your path. Your path maybe is not to continue your corporate successful career. Maybe it's just to create your own company. Just decide it, but decide, have this time, these 13 months, just to decide what you want to do. Dream big. This is one opportunity. I mean, I don't know how many masters you have. I mean, I had 2. You cannot have 5. So this is an opportunity that probably will not come over in the next 10 years. And you have the time. You have the time to invest, the time to think, and the time to plan. Just please do it. Only that, doing that, you will be able just to get the best of yourself. And what we have seen so far in this program is, wow, has been amazing. People promoted, people that came back, people that they are professors in this master that were former alumni. So we see greatness in all of you. Don't forget, I was here 1 year ago. The slides are different. Okay, I changed a little bit the slides. But time flies. This Friday, I need to go with the current cohort, so we go to Shanghai 4-day immersion week. So it's like, wow. I look at you, and I remember the students for only 12 months ago. So just plan carefully what you want to do with this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel, for your inspirational speech.
Ah, you said that.
Yes. Okay, now we have been talking about the fact that we will be sharing some insights about you, so let's move on to that. Okay, let's get to know you a little bit, right? You will have plenty of time to do that, but let me get things started. So this is truly a global and diverse cohort. You are composed of 18 nationalities in your cohort, and overall, at our campus, this is something that we take great pride of. We have more than 130 nationalities represented, right? So, and please forgive me if I butcher any pronunciations, but I think I can say Dobrodosli, Benvenuti, that one was easy. Ahlan wa sahlan, Gamar Joba to the fellow Georgian in the room, and of course, bienvenidos, right? Because we still are in Spain, to all of you. As you can see, you are literally part of a global and diverse cohort. Almost half of you come from Africa and Middle East, while the Americas, both North and South America, make up the second and the third largest group in your cohort, right? And this diversity is going to be one of the greatest strengths of the program, right? So remember what Lee has been telling you, and Manuel also mentioned about our cultural backgrounds, right? And the diversity that we bring to the group discussions and the arch enemies maybe, but let's hope that that situation does not happen, right? The average age of the cohort, well, you are on average 38 years old, so this is also a really interesting moment in your professional careers, right? With an average 14 years of working experience. As you can see, we have a great representation when we talk about male and female. So we do have, well, okay, let me say 60 to 40, because I like becoming an optimist, right? But this is actually a great cohort. And when we take a look at the various industries, right, that you represent, this is some of the organizations that you come from. And when we actually break them down and put them into what sectors they represent, we can actually see some key sectors, right, that is repeating, which is finance, technology, consulting, manufacturing, and healthcare, right? So this is also going to be really interesting when we do, and science and technology guys mixing with asset management and advertising and so on and so forth. I think this is going to be a really interesting academic year and peer-to-peer learning experience for all of you as well, right? What Manuel was also mentioning, so you learn from practitioners, but you also learn from one another. Right? And I'm not going to get into too much detail because, this was a trailer, but the movie is for you to actually set in motion, right? And now I'm really excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Ana Alonso Muñumer, as Manuel mentioned, Senior Vice President of Salesforce and also a professor here with us at IE Business School. Ana will share her insights with us on leadership in the digital age, and she'll inspire us, as she always does, with her thoughts on what it takes to succeed in the world of innovation and transformation. Ana, please, the floor is yours.
So, good morning, all. I'm not going to dedicate the time to introduce myself. We will have our first class on Saturday, next Saturday, so we will have time to introduce each other and you will get to know me better. But just let me start echoing some of the things that I heard Manuel said. I've been teaching in these programs since the very first class. Okay, I was in the first cohort. And there are a couple of things that Manuel shared that I think are very relevant and you have to keep all the time in the back of your mind. The first thing is that being here is a privilege. It's a privilege to be accepted, but it's a privilege for you because it gives you the time between all the work, all the lack of social life, all the lack of family time, to take a step back and think about yourself and about your career. And this is a privilege because our working life, our family lives always keep us busy, and it's very hard to find this time. The second thing I would like to highlight is what he said about the grades. And in some months, you will be presenting me your first work, and I will have some of you saying, but I want an A, I want honors. Look, guys, this is not about that. Believe me, I'm hiring a lot of people. I never ask for the grade in a master. I'm impressed by the conversation I'm having with the people. And this is sometimes is not related at all for a grade. It's about the experience you share, the knowledge you have, the way you are able to manage the intercultural differences. So please, of course, you need to work, you need to approve, you have to aim for good grades, but don't get obsessed with the grades. Get obsessed with the experiences you are getting here that you are not going to get in a safe environment outside here. And with that, let me move to the topic I wanted to talk with you. And it's very related with something Manuel was sharing. As I told you, I've been teaching this program 5-6 years already, more or less. And during those periods, those years, a lot of things have changed. But there has been changes that has been very disruptive, and I've seen how they have impacted the people that were sitting in front of me in their personal life, in their professional lives, like it impacted me. And the first one was COVID. The first class, they went through COVID. And we need to learn about how to teach ourselves, how to work, how to live our personal life in hybrid environments. And everything changed afterwards. And I think that right now, we are again in one of these disruptive changes, that is generative AI. And Manuel said, this is about surviving, but I think it's beyond surviving. This is about transforming the way we live our lives, personally and professionally. And a couple of weeks ago, I was reading an article in the Harvard Business Review that it was called a specialist in value in the area of abundance. And it was mainly about how companies, when there is a lot of abundance in expertise, can keep your value. And it made me reflect about how ourselves in our professional life keep our values and our value. Because each of us, we got a job because we provide value. It could be because we have certain expertise, we have certain skills, the combination of so. But our value is more and more threatened, and it's threatened because of 3 things. First, because as Manuel was saying, our area of expertise is widening and changing so fast that sometimes it's very difficult to keep on with the knowledge. Manuel was saying, I've been in technology companies now for almost 30 years. What I need to provide value on, that was Unisystems, the first PC environments versus mainframe, is completely different to what I talk now about generative AI. And in the middle you have blockchain, cloud, mobile phones, everything. The second thing is that we have more competitors. Now, if someone wants to get my skills in my company, there is remote working, there is gig economy, there are freelancers. So each of us, we have more competitors. When I started working, I was competing with the people living in Madrid, known by someone in my company that could make my job. Now my competitor could be someone that is a freelance working in Australia. It's a completely different play game. And the third area of risk is generative AI. Because I don't need to tell you that some of the things each of us are doing are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. So what do? We get depressed, or we build a strategy that is what we are supposed to do as professionals that we want to develop our career. So if we want to build this strategy, the first thing we need to recognize is this threat we have with artificial intelligence. So we need to make an assessment of which areas of our job can be threatened. What things that I'm doing right now, artificial intelligence is going to do it better or in a more efficient work. And this is not bad. We just need to know to understand how it's going to impact in our professional careers. If, for example, I'm working in human resources and in my department, each time an employee wants to do something, they use a bot, and then my value is only tell them how to do a process or go with them through a very well-defined process, sorry, my job is dead. Because in the moment the company realized an agent could do my job, why I need to be there? So we need to be aware of that. The second thing is that we need to enforce what are our assets. What are the things that make us different? And usually, these are going to be very much related with behavioral, human behavior. So things that will never be able to replace by artificial intelligence is customer engagement, is employee relationships. So I'm this person in human resources. My value is not to follow a process. My value is to know the employees in my department and advise them, coach them, implement the culture of the company. So we need to double down in the areas that make us different, and that cannot be replaced. I read an article this week saying that the messier a process is, the more difficult to be replaced by artificial intelligence. So think about the things you do that are messy, that could not be write down in a clear process. Those are the things that makes your work different. And probably where you need to excel, because artificial intelligence is not going to do that. For me, the third thing, and the one that you need to use this course, this program, to really understand how you do it, is how you augmented yourself with artificial intelligence. So now, my sons, they told me, ChatGPT and Perplexity are my best friends. Really, guys, since I discovered them, my life has become so much easy in things that before for me was, taking time, make me think about how I was doing. Imagine, I need to send a presentation to my boss in the US, very different culture, like Manuel was saying. ChatGPT, please adapt this presentation to an American vice president, blah, 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 blah. For me, this is reducing my work to half of the time. So this is augmenting myself with artificial intelligence. Again, use artificial intelligence in your benefit. The conversation that Manuel has before about how difficult it is to set your tone according with the person you have in front of you. Artificial intelligence, generative AI, could be a very good coach for rehearsing difficult conversation, adapting to your tone to someone in other culture. Use it in your benefit. Because if you use it, you will improve yourself, and you learn faster, and you will be in a better position than other people. And the last thing for me is that in the same way that with COVID, we get used to hybrid environment between remote in the office, now we will need to be adapt to hybrid environment between digital peers and human peers. And some of the work that in the past has been done, for example, for trainees, people in internships, this is the kind of jobs that are going to move to digital agents. So we need to learn to work in this environment. And those are the things that now you have the privilege during the last 13 months to think about. How you become better through artificial intelligence, narrative AI, and move this threat to an advantage. I was refreshing my LinkedIn profile and I was looking for, presentations I did in the past, and I found a presentation I did in 2018 on artificial intelligence, and it was called Responsibility and Opportunity. And I think that more than ever, this is an opportunity and a responsibility for each of us. No one is going to tell you, hey, this agent is going to do your job, so better focus in this area, that is the one that provides value. Better start to learn how to work with digital agents, because if not, your job is going to disappear. You need to do it yourself. So it's your opportunity and your responsibility. So I hope my message has not been gloomy, okay? Because really, I think that I really believe we will be like augmented ourselves, that each of us will have a peer that will be a digital agent working with us, that will be our personal assistant, and that we will benefit a lot in our personal and professional lives. But it will require for us the willingness to change and the willingness to get the skills that we need to do that. And for that, you are in the best place to do it. So really, I would like to congratulate you. I would like to really leverage this, the conversation, the peer. You look ways to go out of your comfort zone. This is the thing that you will benefit the most. And looking forward to have the first class with you next Saturday. Thank you.
Do use the generative AI for your benefit, but do not use those to actually escape the ninja deadlines, because we are on to you, okay? So please don't hand in generative AI assignments. Okay, thank you, Anna. Well, our next speaker is someone who has experienced the journey you're about to embark firsthand, right? And Manuel already pre-introduced him to us. Antonio Barranco, an alumni from the 2023 cohort, will now share his experience and provide his insights into what lies ahead of you, right? Antonio, we are eager to hear your story, so please join me here on the floor. Thank you.
So I will do a mix between reading what I have written and then improvise, because when you are going to share your life, why you need to write it, because it's what you have lived. So first, thank you, Manuel. Thank you, David, for this opportunity. I'm really thrilled and honored to be here to share my experience. Take into account that is my point of view. Take it or leave it. I just want to tell you how do I live this wonderful journey. A transformational journey, and it's not a word, You are really going to be a different person. You're going to be smarter. You're going to be sharper. And you're going to be more competitive, for sure. I mean, right now everything in PowerPoints looks nice, but as Anna, you have said, and Manuel, the first 2 weeks is really nice, but then the pressure starts ramping up. So I want to reflect on my experience. I took a brave decision after being 25 years in corporate life. I work in Peru. I see some Peruvian here at Scotiabank as a head of HR of 11,000 employee finance institution. I was proud of what I'm doing. Then I left the bank and decided to move to Spain with my family. Didn't have a job. I just knew that I wanted to study at the best university in Europe. And yes, you have joined the 6 best business schools in Europe. And that's what I wanted. My mom always raised me, son, reach for the highest, reach for the best. Because I want to give you a very acid perspective about life, which is the one that I tell to my children. Life is a pyramid. And to get here is really challenging, There are not many senior vice presidents in the world. I mean, this is really a VIP club. And to get there, if everybody works 12 hours, you need to work 14. If everybody knows 10 things, you need to know 20. if you want to get here, I don't know how competitive you are, but I'm very competitive. I mean, I've done 6 half Ironman, 1 Ironman, 12 marathons, so I have been in that journey all my life. Now let's talk about the masters. Okay, first the forums. Okay, leaving an opinion on a chat in an asynchronous way seems easy? No, it's not easy. It's going to be your ghost. You're going to go to bed thinking about forums. Yes, how many are here, David? 30, how many? 25. So imagine 31. So imagine Anna drops a question on Monday, okay? And by midday you enter, and there are 12, 15, 20 opinions. What the hell are you gonna say? Well, that's the interesting thing, you know? The easy part is to go there at 8 a.m., drop your message, but you don't learn there. You don't learn there. When you learn it, when you go midday, within the night, you find 25 opinions. What do I say? You need to research more. You need to understand what your peers have said and how can you build on top of that. That really expands your creativeness, you know, expands you, I mean, the way you look at things, you know. I mean, I just challenge you not to be the easy guys, to go there 8 in the morning. Go after midday, you know. That's when you really learn, and that will really get the most out of this program. So forums are going to be your ghost, challenging. I think Manuel have said, and I have said, Lee have said, you won't have life. The only thing you can sacrifice is sleep hours. You know, that's the only thing, because you need to deliver at work. I mean, you need to keep delivering your work, the KPIs, you know, and here, as Lee said, deadlines are deadlines. Friday, 12 a.m., 12 a.m. There's no 1 second more. The platform closes, so you better commit to deadlines and be there before the deadline, because there are not exceptions, I can tell you that. So on that, we are in a very academic university, there are no exceptions. Another challenge. I have seen here people from many places of the world. In my first group, I have 1 person in Africa, 2 in Kuwait, 1 in Portugal, 1 in Ecuador, and another in Bolivia. 5 time zones, you know. So you need to find moments during the week to deliver your assignments. And that's the beauty, you know. Find, discuss, come to an agreement, you know. And as Anna and Manuel have said, this is a safe place, you know, so you can share your fears. Sometimes you are overloaded at work, so you need to talk to your team, you know. And if you have really created that cohesive relationship, the team will stand for you. The team will cover you, you know, and then you will cover other team member, because so it's life. So take advantage of that. It's not easy. And one of the things I love from this program is the cultural diversity. It sounds, you know, like a fuzzy word, bit of the moment, but it's really what I enjoyed. I challenged myself. I didn't have any friend from the Middle East, so I took into a personal journey to learn about that. I knew a friend was going to Valencia. I went there because I wanted to know, you know, how he lived. You know, I mean, to me, it was really exciting, you know, getting to know new cultures, learning from them, you know, learning that you cannot kiss a woman, for example, you know. So to me, that was new, and I'm very humble with you. But I really love to understand that, to read about that, and please take your time to understand who you are in relationship with, you know, because sometimes a word, a thing can be understood differently. But I think also be open if somebody made a mistake, you know, because that's what we're here for, in a safe place to learn. And another thing I never expect finding here is new friends, you know, online program, only 4 face-to-face weeks. And I can tell you, IU University has this program well crafted, because I ended with very good friends that I consider them brothers in life, which with 3 of them, as Manuel have said, I started in a startup company. We are about to launch a legacy management app in the UK by the 3rd week of April, something I have never thought. After being in the corporate world, never thought, you know, it's easy to be in the corporate world, getting your bonus in March, you know, meeting KPIs, that easy. but going out there, research the market. I mean, put money into that because we are, putting our money into that. But I think that what IE gives to you, as though the skills to face those challenges, the know-how. As Manuel has said, when I started, it was the beginning of ChatGPT. What ChatGPT is doing now is really amazing. Next year, we don't know. So the know-how will pass, But the skills you get here by learning from the professors, by interacting with your peers, is what you take with you. And what is really going to make you survive. When as Anna was saying, everything's challenged, some tasks are going to be replaced by AI. I do think that is going to happen. But then you need to think, what do I need to do not to be cut? Never stop thinking that, You need to learn, and also learn to unlearn. I remember we were doing a work, a VR presentation, and one of my friends got sick. Antonio, we need to edit a Photoshop image. In my life, I never edited a Photoshop image. And one of them told me, Antonio, I help you. No, I want to learn. And just following videos on Adobe, it took me 4 hours, but I did it myself. And I was proud of that, I think that's what IE brings you to the table. Challenge yourself. No shit, I'm gonna do it, I'm brave, I'm gonna go for it. And as passionate as I'm speaking right now, is because of the experience that I have. You're sitting right there. It is true what Antonio is saying. Maybe yes, maybe no. But for sure, one of you is going to be here. I'm going to be telling this story with the passion I'm telling you now. So go for it. Be ready to build the best of yourself. Be ready to build the next you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Antonio. Now, I would like to introduce you to the team. Well, you have already had a first sneak peek, right? This is the team that will support you throughout your journey. Our program management team, as you can see from the variety of the flags, as international and diverse as you are here to ensure that you have everything you need to succeed, right? And in particular, with the sake of this program, your cohort, my colleagues there, David and Rosa, they will be your go-to people when you actually have missed the deadline that Manuel has put on, right, as Antonio was mentioning, because we do close at midnight. And from day-to-day logistics to academic guidance to help you through any issues that you might have with your experience, the team members are going to be happy to support you, and you will be meeting them in person as well later in your face-to-face day when you actually have the Meet Your Academic Team portion, right? But I just wanted to show you a quick photo of some familiar faces that you will be seeing throughout your program. And we've got your back every step of the way, right? And with this, as far as the formal part of the ceremony is concerned, we do wrap up, but the fun part does not stop here, right, as you can imagine. So what we're going to do right now is that we will continue. We will have a small cocktail for you in the foyer, right outside, where you can actually meet your classmates, maybe talk to our speakers as well. From there, we will also offer to take individual photos of you so that you can update your LinkedIn profile as Lee recommended that you do, right? And we'll also take group photos there. And after that, please do not go anywhere because we will take you to a campus tour to help you get familiar, right, with your surroundings, with our space. And thank you to all of you for being here today. And as everyone has been saying, right, remember, the journey towards the next best you starts right now. Thank you.